So we're sharing photos of flowers and updating on my motorhome debacle. So after my daughter's passing, I used pretty much my whole savings, bought a motorhome because I planned to travel cross country with my granddaughter, my daughter's daughter. She was 4 last year when I bought it, and 4.5 when we left. Coming across country, we had one location that we were stopping on our way. Not sure exactly where we were headed. I wanted to spend the summer in Vermont. Regardless, so I was having issues with the transmission. I paid $4,000 for my transmission to be done. And he brought it to me the day before I left. And before I even got it put up on the tow dolly behind the motorhome, it had bled out all of its transmission fluid, which I believe he had already knew about, because when he first brought it back to me 2 weeks prior, I sent it back to him for the same thing. Regardless, I think he brought it to me at the last minute on purpose, and not a whole lot I could do about it. I had to get going. My son was going with us to help me drive across country with the little one, keep her company and such, because it was a long drive. And we had to be to Nashville Airport on that Friday for my son to catch the airplane back to get back home in time to get to work. Regardless, it was a mess the whole time. A lot of stuff happened. I'll get into those stories later, but regardless, 5 hours before we hit our stop, our ending point, the motorhome threw a rod. Trees are so beautiful. They're so big. Unfortunately, they break so easily around here. And yeah, that was a big debacle. Obviously, I couldn't bring it. They only tow you so far, which is kind of funny because, when I had full coverage insurance and I had tow insurance and everything. And I had like the premium one that they'll tow you anywhere as far as you need to go. But then when it happens, it's not. And it's just frustrating. Anyhow, regardless. So at that point, after spending the money to do little upgrades on the motorhome, which I pretty much just put in an instant hot water heater and such. It needed some other stuff. I had some solar stuff going on that needed to be finished before we headed out from Nashville to the rest of our trip. But anyhow, so thankfully our stop in Nashville was actually to visit some family. It wasn't meant to be here for a year, but unfortunately, because when I got here, the transmission was gone. It took months. I had to get a job working from home because obviously I'm out in the middle of nowhere. I'm 40 minutes from Nashville, and I had no car. So regardless, it took a year to save up the money to do the transmission, and then 3 months later, he still hadn't found me a transmission, which is kind of unnerving. But at the same time, I have had other money saved up from work, and I was looking at other motorhomes. In the midst of it, I found a little tiny home in a place where I raised my children. And I didn't have the money to put down on it. So I talked to the realtor. I actually talked to the owner. It's a very little, it's like a tiny home, but it's a little bit bigger. It's about 700 square feet. And then after I realized that the mechanic was not going to get me a transmission and just keep having me on hold, I was either going to have to buy a motorhome and a little car, or use the money to put down on the little house. Well, so I called the realtor, and he was going to put in an offer. He did a video walk around. I fell in love with the house. This was yesterday. Then he calls back. Well, the thing is that it's an owner finance. An owner finance for 20 years, 6%. And I did all the insurances. Everything was good. But then they want closing costs, which is very odd to me because generally, they don't want closing costs for an owner carry. And if they do, it's like 3%. It's nothing. But then, of course, I have my realtor fees, which I shouldn't have had in the first place. That's another story. But anyhow, so he put the offer in. We'll see what happens. It's not looking well because I'm about $5,000 short, which we're trying to figure out what to do. But I had promised that I would update my news. So yeah, well, if me and the little one get this house, it'd be great. If not, I guess we're getting another motorhome, and then I don't know what I'm gonna do, because I may lose my job because I have to be directly connected to the internet. I can't use Wi-Fi, and I have to figure out what I'm doing because I don't want to rent. I'm sick of it. I've spent thousands and thousands upon thousands on renting the past 8 years while my daughter was sick, just trying to take care of her and the little one. So we'll see what happens. So, yeah, that's the news. I guess we'll know in a few days, and I'll send out another update. Maybe we'll do a live